Little more inking and coloring. We can see that this pathway goes a long ways. A lot of these stones are more visible towards the front of the pathway. The farther back it gets, the more rocky and rough it looks. And I think I'll fix that later. Right now I'm adding an extra window on this building, little wood texture around the wood, pieces of the framework. And so far my cheap Chinese pens haven't run out yet, so that's great. I will have to buy some better quality ones later. I am going for a peach tan stucco color. So I'm starting with my highlighted color, working with the bright yellow. And then I can add my warmer tones, darker tones later. This way I have the highlights already put in. I can leave a few spaces of white just for reflection of light. If it is that shiny of a surface, I really don't think it should be. The rest of this, all these buildings can kind of be the same. I think some will be made of darker stucco, perhaps like gathered in a different area or something for some reason. But I really don't want a whole bunch of colors. Maybe later. But right now, I like to keep it smooth. So I'm going over all the buildings. The left side first, of course, and then I'll switch over. A lot of this won't be finished in this video. I'll make another video later of coloring probably the rocks and cement and the steps. There's probably a lot of windows and wooden doors. Why? So this happens all the time. I'm probably too heavy-handed on my pencils. And I'll wax it thick or just leave it light like this. Sometimes I color so heavy with colored pencils it makes the page heavy and the whole thing is just waxed shiny. So I'll try not to do that with this one. I think that would interfere with the ink. I like the ink to show. And as I'm coloring, I notice the ink is getting slightly grayed. So I'll just chill with that. I am going to fast forward this part very quickly. Adding multiple layers on the same image kind of is interesting, but kind of not. The final result is usually the most interesting part. What I really want to be careful about is the shadows. I want to make sure my light source is coming from the same direction. And granted, a brighter stucco building can refract light onto other buildings. It's not going to be a bright white light. It's going to be more of a warm, lighter yellow or warm peach color. So I have to keep that in my mind. I am adding a hint of blue around the water and the windows and kind of all the way out to the edge. I'm adding green because it is a gulf. And it's going to have some bluish green tones to it. Now these trees, they have two tones. They're going to be dark and light green, and that way the sun is rolling over the treetops. That's what I wanted. And at this point I'm going to slightly carefully repair this clay roofing shingles, clay shingles. And it's not quite accurate. I should have looked at a live photo. The rest of the roofs are going to be a hot mess of lines. it's not going to look nice like this one. This is the closest roof. I am excited to work on this, especially the stucco roofs. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think the general idea is to make it look like worn clay shingles, stuff that's maybe bleached a bit by the sun but dark underneath. I think if I do the coloring just right, this would be an eye-catching image that I could keep framed or, you know, up somewhere where people would walk in and see it. It'd be something to be like, oh, what is this? But darks and lights, the deep shadows and bright highlights are going to be the game changer for this. Regardless of how sloppy the clay shingle roof is, that's getting pretty messy. I don't even like looking at it, but there it is. And the pathway is going to have to be, is going to be the most challenging part to color. So now I'm going to work on the stone steps. A lot of my music is flagged and given a copyright with a plus symbol to all of my videos, but YouTube keeps flagging music that is Creative Commons royalty-free music from Pixabay.com royalty-free music. And I get permission from the content creators to use their music. So it's not the content creators and it's not pixabaymusic.com or Pixabay music source. It is literally just YouTube. Now I can't figure out if it's a YouTube algorithm or an actual person or people who are kind of picking favorites and being discriminatory against other content creators such as myself because I don't meet their personal expectations. Now that is an abuse of rights. So I'm going to keep fighting. I get to make videos too. I get to get my subscribers and likes up too. Just because I'm Christian or United States citizen or Republican does not mean I should be discriminated against. I should have the same freedom right to make videos. So this is my choice, my artwork. At this point, I have got my basic YouTube has become quite the down for abusive most of communistic and I got a company. General idea. I think they're caving to pressure from over the surface countries. I can kind of a lot of the time that see where the light in companies should be because of money and power, and that's where I start going from there. Let go of that, so then I would actually have a really good dark tones platform. And this is if you don't cave to that, your platform would skyrocket. I really don't. It would do so much better, and everybody would have the freedom and right to do stuff. Do a little bit in each spot. There's got to be pressure and, coercion and blackmail and all this junk. That's just garbage. It gets in the way. And it causes people to not be able to actually double their talents. It's just the light is talents that God gave them. You're not supposed to cause someone to bury their talents or restrict them from their freedoms. Because you yourself would be punished by God himself. It's kind of a rise, and that's how that goes. That's oppression. You're being oppressive. A dictator. So as I add my bright highlights, so I can even I really don't like a little bit of white. And I'm going to add my people should be able to do dark tones. Their artwork. So obviously they should have freedom. They should have choice. It should not be of this pathway is going to be a different color against one person. I could make it all one color, unprofessional, and then just have even if you're quarreling about something. Of darks and it's lights. Usually a one-on-one quarrel. But you don't need like 12 people gossiping and rising up against one person. Now that's kind of weird. For that's just a witch hunt. Kind of a medium brown and immature, reddish brown and ignorant. And then I'm going to add my darks. This needs to quit. So that it actually shouldn't oppress Christian artists. It shows up better. All that music that's royalty free. I've already put all the license information on all of my videos. I've disputed it. But the rest of the pathway is going to be too small to do. Yeah, I've tried everything, and they still do the same thing over and over again. Lights. Anyways, pathway's looking good. So there's just a little
That
bit
is
of color
looking
on the
like
pathway
yellow,
right now.
golden or burnt,
And a little bit of
soil.
color on a wall.
Almost like they're
Some
hot.
rocks and stones,
like
and a little bit
lava
of greenery.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tone that down.
The
just
next
a little
video
bit.
will
It's a little
probably
too
be
hot.
a lot more pathway
So I'll
work
probably
and sidewall
gray
work.
it out a little bit.
And it should start
Make the
tying
soil
itself
a little bit
together.
darker.
Hope you enjoyed this art, and I
add a
will
little
keep
bit
working on some
more
more.
black
Thanks
to the
for
soil.
watching.
So that's it for now. Like, subscribe, comment, etc. Thanks for watching. Here's the music credits, which I already put. And I'm going to upload this one again, even though I've got one up there for this cottage part 5.